Hi everyone, this is Nona from thealignedlover.com. I have a new series for you. Let's explore the style of midheaven placement. So we'll start off with the Aries midheaven. We'll look at patterns and themes that show up for the most popular roles of natives with this placement. And we'll look at ways to express that in terms of style and persona. So again, this is very generalized. Take it with a grain of salt and hopefully you can enjoy. All right, so before we get into the examples, let's just briefly talk about the Aries flavor in terms of midheaven. So again, the midheaven is the highest point in your natal sky. It is what the public wants or expects from you. It's what really catches or really sinks in with the public. It works, you know? And in the cardinal fire Aries sign, this is going to be very individualistic. Think of spring of a life beginning. Life has to find a way to assert itself. It needs to figure out its boundaries, who it is, who it's not. It's very autonomous because it's a very independent placement. So we're going to see a lot of this kind of warrior trailblazer persona, a lot of autonomy, individualistic, confident, brazen, rugged, and also kind of innocent or even childlike quality or spirit, which is super Aries. So in terms of style, this is going to look like armor of some sort, whether to fight or seduce. And the designs are going to be simple, bold, decisive, and you're going to see a lot of red. Now, in terms of archetypes, because I really love archetypes, especially the ones that are described by Dr. Jean Shinoda in her book, Goddesses in Every Woman. Highly recommend you read that. I think the Aries midheaven placement really aligns with the Artemis archetype, which is a virgin warrior. So virgin meaning, in this case, untainted by external influence. So again, super individualistic, very strong sense of self. And Artemis is the warrior. She's a fighter. She really sticks up for herself and protects her sisters, her women companions, and she does not listen to anybody. And I also think this aligns with the Aphrodite archetype, the vixen provocateur, the need for that fun desire to be experienced. Also a very Aries thing. So hopefully you can recognize these qualities and archetypes in these natives' most popular roles and even in their costuming. So our first example is the beautiful Zoesadanya, and her most famous roles are characters that are very strong-headed, even hot-headed, rugged, not at all conflict averse. They are warriors, they're very strong, they are fighters, and she does have that kind of play on the very naive or innocent quality of Aries, like with her character from Avatar. More open, a little bit naive, but mostly very strong, hot-headed, fiery, rugged characters. And this shows through her costuming. She is always wearing something that looks simple but sleek, not too polished, not too sleek. There's also a sense of ruggedness, of lived-in quality to it, from her catsuit or bodysuit as Gamora to this very simple tank top, jeans, and boots outfit from Colombiana to her Star Trek dress and boots. It's decisive, it's bold, but it doesn't get in the way, and it really supports that confident, strong, hot-headed fighter quality. All right, another very famous Aries Midheaven native is Angelina Jolie, and her Aries Midheaven energy is just so apparent in her movie roles and I guess also in her personal life. So in terms of movie roles, she's most popular for Tomb Raider, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Gone in 30 Seconds, and this movie from the 80s called Hackers. And again, she is playing very strong, tough, rugged characters. They're fighters, they're fiery, they're hot-headed, they're confident, they don't listen to anyone, they're even rebellious, and I think that also manifests in her more private public persona, what the public knows of her private self or private life. We know that Angelina's life is very unique. She has forged her own path. She definitely does not have a traditional life path or traditional relationships. And I really think that she is a great example of that melding of her Cancer rising and her Aries midheaven, that mom energy and that warrior energy. All of her work with nonprofit organizations, going all around the world, being an ambassador and adopting children from many different countries. It's a really strong alignment with those two energies. Anyways, the way that this shows through her costuming, again, rugged, sexy, bold, doesn't get in the way. You don't really notice too much of her outfit. You notice her and her body in the outfit, which is, again, that kind of Aries strength coming through. You don't really expect too much velvet, fineries, daintiness when it comes to a strong Aries midheaven energy. So leather, simple outfits, outfits that you can move in, that can get dirty, that can take a beating. Next up, we have Julia Roberts. She's very well known for her role in Pretty Woman as a prostitute who basically wears this amazing cutout bodysuits and thigh-high boots, super rugged, very brazen. She's also well known for playing Erin Brockovich, a very headstrong paralegal, and she's dressed very provocatively and confidently, but again, not delicately in this role. A little bit more subtle, in terms of style, is her role in My Best Friend's Wedding. She plays someone who is friendly and fun and free-spirited, but also quite self-centered, very individualistic and stubborn, very headstrong. And you can see there's kind of like a sporty baseball shirt influence to her shirt or cardigan. And in Mystic Pizza, she plays a free-spirited, kind of naive character. And again, very simple red sweater. Looks amazing on her. Next up, we have Cameron Diaz. I always associate her with Charlie's Angels. So again, a very athletic fighter role, like these super secret agent women spies. So she's always dressed in a very sexy but simple, bold way in her most popular roles. And even when she's dressed as Fiona in Shrek, she still has lots of room and ability to fight in her gown. Moving on to some musician examples, we have Nancy Sinatra, and she's known for dressing in a very sexy, bold, but also coquettish way. It's that kind of sexy but innocent and simple Aries qualities coming together. So you'll see her in a lot of super short sweater dresses and boots, very popular mod fashion of the time, and just kind of hyper exaggerated sexuality, but never in a very delicate or super feminine way with lots of florals or lace or a lot of draping silky silhouettes. There's always a sense of ruggedness and simplicity. Mariah Carey, my favorite diva, she has that public persona that is just so fiery, confident, very, very strong sense of self. She is not afraid to sound a little bit conceited. You know, she can back it up. She's very strong, And she's also really fun and free-spirited if you watch more of her interviews, you know. But she has that kind of like intimidating but innocent Aries aura. And she has a lot of placements in Aries too. So what you'll see her wearing, especially from the 90s, very body-bearing, simple, tight, confident outfits, cutouts, cropped shirts, mini dresses, anything that really shows off her chest and her legs. She is not afraid to show off her body. She loves to show off her body, and in the simplest way. You really won't see her with too many delicate details. Maybe she'll do like sequins or something really shiny, but mostly it's a little bit more pared down and all about her actual silhouette. And our last example, based on just persona or reputation alone, is Meghan Markle. So the media is a great way to kind of gauge that midheaven, that public persona, the energy or kind of characteristics that stick. The media tends to paint Meghan as a very rebellious, self-centered, individualistic person who really wants to fight against tradition or authority. And just in terms of style, her more recent style, assuming that she dresses differently now, that she doesn't have to play a more diplomatic role, we're seeing a lot more of an edgy quality, this lovely mix of more masculine kind of pieces, more powerful pieces, sleeker, a lot less gentle, I would say. She's not dressing in anything that you would call conventionally like classic or traditionally feminine. So very strong, bold, decisive, not necessarily super brazen and body bearing, but there's a sense of power in the way that she dresses. Alright, so that was it for my first video in this series. Again, just a fun little generalization of the most popular roles or the general public persona of natives with Aries Midheaven. Let me know if you know any other really good examples of this, or if you have Aries Midheaven. I'd love to hear about how people react to you in the public sphere, the career sphere, versus, say, your more private self. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.